in one direction. And when I say too heavy, let's say you were going to invest $4,000 to $5,000. You don't want all of that to the upside. So when we're talking about hedging, you want to make sure that you have something to the opposite direction, just in case the market does exactly what it did yesterday. So when we talk about hedging, there are different ways that you can hedge your portfolio. And hedging is simply protecting your portfolio. You know, the market can run and run in one direction for a long time. We've seen that it's done that in the last few years with the SPY and everything that's been going on. But now we're also noticing that we're in a time of indecision in the market. And so we want to figure out what's the next move. What's the next move on the market? So when we talk about hedging, let me pull up my notes over here. Hedging stocks is a risk management strategy where investors use other investments like options or futures to offset potential losses from a primary investment like a stock. It's like creating an insurance policy for your stock investment to protect against adverse price movement. So yesterday, just before the market closed, I'm right here in the coming hedging tools. I use options and I use puts because I already had a bunch in the call direction because I was expecting that break to the upside. So by having some puts, I was able to hedge just in case, because like I said yesterday, did anybody see the message that I put in the chat yesterday? I said, hey, if you have a bunch of calls or you're in profit, it doesn't hurt to take some profit because we don't know what the market's going to do. We do not know. So from day to day, you know, we're trading and charting and doing our best to try and figure out what the market's going to do. But from day to day, we actually don't know what it's going to do. We're looking at the charts. We're trying to get our best guess and our best estimates on what it's going to do. But it never hurts to hedge. It's like life insurance. And so this morning, the market opens. Guess what? I had calls and puts. Guess what paid? The puts. I was in the puts, wrote them down, up 26%, up 60%, closed those. I thought it was going to go the other way. And then I had to be patient because it was coming down. I'm like, okay, well, if it turns around, I'm going to do calls. But I kept watching. It started to come down again. So what? I jumped in puts again, jumped in puts to hedge those calls. And as the account is falling, those puts will even the account back out, so you don't lose too much money to the downside. And then it's a dance because you want to hold your puts long enough to where it evens your account out. And then as the stock is turning, boom, buy your call and take it back up. And I had it almost perfect today. I was like, we're doing this thing. So anybody have any questions about hedging before we go any further? I used options to hedge options. Sometimes if you have a bunch of shares and you're expecting it to go up and it starts to fall, you can hedge your shares with puts. So say you had 5,000 to 6,000 shares of Palantir and it started falling, you could say, well, hey, I'm going to hedge my shares with puts, and you could buy some puts, and as it goes down, boom, you still can, your account value stays the same. Any questions about that? Anybody at all before I move forward?
No, Anthony, I would say this is great information. I needed this a week ago, brother, because
really so much information to give you
what
guys.
You just said, man, it happened to me, but it's not a major amount of money, you know, but I'm still learning. But however, if I'd have hedged something, it was with Tesla. If I'd have put some puts down and hedged it, it would have balanced everything out. But it's neither here nor there. I'm learning, brother. Well, I appreciate this information.
Right. And so let me show you what I'm doing also. Let me share my screen again. So what I'm doing now, because the market now, I've never seen it like this, but it's news driven. So if the president, he said today, oh, I got some good news. I got some news. I got some news. You know, just the way he be moving and talking. So he's saying he's got news on Thursday. So what I did was, when we couldn't break the 200-day moving average on the SPY, we got literally right And what did I tell you guys? Didn't I say news is coming? Right there, look. I wrote that in the charts. What was that, like weeks ago? Because I told you, I said, we're not going to break the 200-day moving average, and we're on the 3-day. Let me go to the 1-day, and that'll be under. It should be under. I said news coming. But basically, it should be right about there. News coming. My line got moved. But did not I predict that? Didn't I say that? I said Trump is going to have to get a deal. Something's going to have to happen. But in order to break this 200-day moving average, because we gapped up again. We got right. Look how close we got to breaking that 200. We got to 568 and some change. We need 570 and 28 cents. $570.28. Boom. And if we can blow through this 200-day moving average, man, it's about to be so much money made on the upside. It will make your head spin. Look at this. TP1. I repeat again, TP1 take profit is $631.98, basically $632. So you're telling me this news comes out and we're going to reverse and jump to the upside, $30, $35. If the news comes out, we're going to get this candle right here. Y'all remember on the 9th when Trump faked us out and said it's a good time to buy. We went from 490 all the way up to 548, the third best trading day in the history of the stock market. So listen, you don't have to be an expert. Get you a call, get you something to the upside, because if he comes out Thursday and says something and we get a candle like this, I mean, look at this. Let me see if can I measure that? How big is this candle? We went from, that was a crazy move. What was that? We went from 490, 548. Tremendous move. So over here, let me see. Hold on. 548. A $58 move. So let's say we get another one of these candles on Thursday. Let's say something good happens tonight, something happens, the market reverses just a little. We don't need a lot of movement because we're so close right here. So let's just say from where we are, let me go to the extended hours because the market is still open. We're going to see if we can predict what's going to happen. So right now in the extended hour, we are at, oh, the market did turn around. What happened? We already turned around. Wow, at 1800, we went up $4. Wow. So let's say from here, 563. President Trump said he's coming out with news on Thursday. So let's say 563 plus, let's just be generous and say 45. That puts us at 608. So let's look at 608 on the chart. 608 would bring us to, on the daily, and this is kind of how I figure out my trades and like how I'm gonna position myself. So I try and look at what's happened before, and then I try and figure out where I think it can go again by simply just looking at what's already happened. Let me turn my phone down. Turn my phone off. There we go. So if we go back to the chart, and we're doing good on our time because we're talking about hedging. So I have stuff to the downside and I have stuff to the upside, but we're looking at 608. So where is 608 on the chart? Good Lord. 608 takes us right in this area. So why would we choose this area? I just was nice about it because it actually will be a bigger move. But 608 would actually bring us right here to the top of this candle, which happened on February the 21st. And if we get a move like that, right here, we're going to trigger these flat lines where it says sell. When we hit those lines again, we trigger buys. So we're going to trigger a buy. And this will already be in a buy by then though. But we could literally, if we get one more big candle like this, be above the 200-day moving average and running. And so, but what I'm doing to hedge is at every high, I'm buying a few puts, because the same way we went up, and then it could be the wrong move, but I always hedge. I always hedge something. And I'm going way out because I want to see a deal get done. I want to see us break this level, and I want to see us at all time. I want to see us up here, but I'm thinking the only thing that's going to do that is definitely some news or something that pushes us up here. Now, if we can do that on Tesla, we're definitely going to get that big move. Tesla above the 200-day moving average. It's in a W pattern off of a triple bottom. It'll definitely give us a $40 or $50 move, a really, really big move. And so we want to be aware of that. But also when the market is running to the upside like that, you always want to be thinking, when is this going to end? And then when it's time for it, or you think it's kind of dwindling out, like when we got here and we couldn't break the 200, we came down and went back and wicked. This is where you would want to hedge. Right here, as it started wicking, this is where you want to take your put, and you would want to go out maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and that way you have time to hedge. Because if we break, what is that? 268.95 is a level of support. We break that, which is 3/4 of this candle from April 25th. We're coming back down, and we have to remember there's some gaps down here that never got filled. So we always have to be thinking and looking in the opposite direction as we're going up, because remember, gaps always get filled. They're going to come back and fill those gaps at some point in time. And so you can hedge at this, and this would have been the perfect hedge on Tesla. Look at this. We had a double top here, and you could say, well, look, I know we were here. We came down, we came back, we came down, we came up. Now listen, if we come up here again and touch this and don't break, I'm shorting this. When I say shorting this, I'm taking a put. I'm hedging my positions, because you might have Tesla shares. You don't want your value of your shares to diminish too much. And so you take a put. And if you took a put on May the 2nd, you'd still be green right now, because look, we're at, that was 294. Anybody that did that, those contracts are still nice and green, because we're still at 279.12. Any questions about that? Where you want to hedge at is at the highest point that you can do it, because you want to get it at a high enough level that as the stock comes back, as you see the stock turning and coming back up, that's when you release that hedge, as you know that, hey, this move is real, it's going the other way. And if I show you Palantir again on today, let me see if I can show you on the hourly or the 30-minute. I took puts at, well, I was in puts, and I took it down from here, 112, down, 105. And then I was looking this morning, as it was coming down, I'm like, okay, where are we going to find support? Where are we going to find support? Once we find support, I'm going to buy calls. And so it came down, and right about that 106 level, that's where I actually ended up exiting. I exited a position there. And listen, once you exit and you see that it's still going down, it came back up to 107. And guess what? It started to fade again. It went into like a shooting star, and then it came back. Guess what I did? I got in the put again right here and rode it all the way down. And this is where I bought. Was it here? 106? I think it was here. I got the calls, and I took them, and I'm still in them, and they're up. But if you see from here, when we hit this low and came back, yep, it was here. When we didn't break this level again, and I saw that wick, this is where I took my call. This is where I exited my puts. I mean, it was almost perfect. I've never gotten it that perfect before. And I don't know if I ever will again, because literally you're playing it candle to candle, candle to candle, and you have to stay in the candle, and you want to watch. Let me see if I can show you the countdown clock. You want to watch that candle until it closes. Where's the countdown clock? Is there one on the SPY? Oh, I'm not in the extended hour. Hold on. So when I say, yeah, candle close, see on the 2 minute, we have this countdown. It says 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Boom, that candle just closed. We got a new candle and looks like it went down. So on Palantir, let me go back over there now and we can look at it in the extended hours. It was candle to candle that I was doing that. And now we're in the after hour. But when I say candle to candle, as you're trading that, you want to wait on that countdown window. So on the 30 minute, I'm not going to exit my position or cancel my hedge until I'm sure that this drop is over and this move to the upside is real. And you don't know until the countdown is over. See, we have 1 minute and 20 seconds on this candle. And let me see the way that we're going up. I would say we clear 109.34 in a minute and 7 seconds. I would say, looking at this, when I'm looking at the wicks, I'm looking how it's moving. I would say we get to at least 127. Looks like we want to go up. 127. Yep, see it's going up. I would say might even do more. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the candle and I'm making a decision. I think we're going to clear this wick. And I'm only doing that from just looking at what's over here. What is holding this from moving higher? And now look, we're at 109.26, 26 seconds left. So you have to go candle to candle when you're trying to decide on a hedging position, or you're trying to decide, do I sell my position to the downside, enter my position to the upside? It's candle to candle. And now look, we have 10 seconds left. We're actually going down. But I'm thinking 4 seconds. I was thinking 127, 128. Let's see what we get. It actually got a lower low, or lower high, excuse me. 109.25. But now it's going to push higher. So my only reason for showing that is just to say, when I was trading it this morning, I was going candle to candle, watching that. I got 29 minutes. What's going to happen? What do I think is going to happen? Looking to the left, seeing where we've already been, and seeing now that we're in a W pattern. I would say by morning, we would definitely be 112, 114, somewhere like that on this play. Any questions about that when I'm saying candle to candle? Because you don't want to get out of your, like if you're in a put like I was this morning, I got out and it kept going down. So guess what? I got back in. You know, if you get out too early, don't be afraid to get back in. But when I saw it wicking, I'm like, no, that was the end. But look, it actually 106.54. It went all the way down to another dollar. I need that money. I mean, we're in a recession. They're lying. And so now I took that, and honestly, the call should have started here, but it was just too stressful. I was able to come right here, release my hedge, which was the put, get in the call, and continue in the direction that I thought the market was going to go. And so that's just the way that I hedge today. Every play is a little bit different. Sometimes I'll have a bunch of shares and they're going down, and I'll just use futures to trade against those and make the money back in the futures. That's another thing you could do. You can use futures. Let me show you that diagram again. So when you're hedging, there are many ways you could do it. You could use futures against your plays. You could use calls and puts against what you've already got going on. You can use diversification. Like say if you know that Palantir is going down and Apple's going up, then you could purchase a bunch of Apple or purchase a little bit of Apple. The whole thing is asset management. You don't want your account to be down. So we're fighting losing money. So if one thing is going down, hey, what's moving? Hey, hymns is up. Let me jump in some hymns and bring my account back up. I don't want my account to be down. So whatever I got to do to fight losing money, I want my account to stay up. So whatever's moving, I'm going to jump in some, ride it up and sell it, and then get back into what I was already trading. Use that money to buy in the direction that I was already going. Hedging strategies, market neutral, long short equities, pairs trading. These are all techniques. You can Google them and look them up. Derivative hedges, using options. I was just saying that, using options and futures. Also covered calls. If you have 100 shares and you're in an option, you can also do covered calls. I'm going to do a class on that. But if you have 100 shares, let's say a Palantir, you can sell a call. When you sell that call, you get the what's it called? So let's say you did a call to January. The price for that call, the strike price was $2,500. When you sell that covered call, the moment you sell it, you get the $2,500. So that's another way to hedge. You could say, well, my stock is down. I know it's going to go up. I got 100 shares. I'm going to sell a covered call. Or you can, like I said, with the futures, if it's going down, jump in futures and short the market. As your call is going down, your stocks are going down, you're shorting the market, your money's coming back up. These are all ways to hedge. I hope this is making sense. Are you guys getting it?
Yeah, I'm following.
Right,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So this is
Very
way
much needed,
keep
man. I tell you.
if from losing your money. If the market is falling, which right now the market is going up. So if you're in shorts, I'm hedging my shorts now with calls. So I'm in both directions. I'm only doing that on the SPY though. Nothing else am I doing that on right now. I did it on Palantir yesterday only because I played earnings. And normally I wait until after earnings so I know a clear direction. But when it kept falling, hey, I knew I had did the right thing by hedging that position. And let me show you one more way to do this. And we're going to bring on Lonnie. And because I know you guys are going to have questions for him. Let me see if I can show you. So this is another thing that I do to hedge. I always also do my stop loss. And a lot of people don't like to trade with the stop loss, but when I'm trading, I use my stop loss because I do not want to lose my money. So let's say this is resistance. My stop loss is here at support. If I'm in a position and I'm buying here and this is resistance, the market goes against me, my stop loss is here. So this is going to be my hedge. As the market comes back, it's going to kick me out. As it kicks me out, the least amount of money I would lose would be at this line. Sometimes if you don't have a stop loss, your losses just keep going, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%. But if you set your proper risk management, you won't lose like that. So you can use your stop loss at resistance or your stop loss or a buy at support. Let me see. I think I have another one here. So let's say you're in a call and the market pulls back. So the market goes up and see how it pulls back. So don't be afraid when you see the market open and then it pulls back. The pullback is where you open your trade. So you would set your stop loss here, enter your trade here. As the market goes up, you're hedging and protecting your money, but now setting your stop loss here. I do this all the time. So my stop loss was here. If the market had came back down to here, boom, it would have kicked me out. But because the market kept going and now the market's up here, boom, I moved my stop loss up here. Now the market's up here. I put my stop loss here. I adjust my stop. So this way you're not losing your money. You're protecting your money and you're hedging by simply using your stop loss. This is a very powerful tool when used properly, because imagine right here, the market goes up, you see the doji, there's indecision, you see it wick back, boom, set the stop loss, enter here. Let's say you got in with 10,000. This 10,000 now is probably 12,000. Now we're going up more. You got like maybe 12.5. Market pulls back. Your stop loss is here. Boom, it doesn't stop. It goes up. You might be at 13 right here. You don't want to lose all this money. So as it's going up, honestly, I would have moved my stop loss here. I'm not trying to lose money. I would have adjusted. If I'm in 10 here, it'd be 12 here, probably 12.5. We come back 12. Okay, we didn't break this. Up here is going to be like 15. We start wicking down. Man, I'm moving my stop loss right here. This is fine and dandy to be down here, but I'm not losing 14, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, I'm going to be right here. Sorry, if this pulls back, I'm already out, and I'll be in a put right here. Boom, ride it down. So all of these are things that you could do to protect your investment as it's going up. When you see that wick like that, hey, that's Curry doing the bye-bye. The game's over. Get out. It's over. When you see that shooting star, that game's over. Get out. Move that stop loss to right there. And then look, if you see that wick again, short it, and then you bring it all the way down. There's no need to. This is a good diagram to say set it on support, but I would be up here because I'm stingy and I want to keep the money I made. I'm not going to give back all of this. I'm just not. You can, but I'm not going to be risky like that. Not me. So those are ways that you can hedge. Those are ways that you can protect it. And we'll talk about this again. Anybody have any questions about that? Because I want to get Lonnie on because I know you guys are going to have some questions for him. Anybody else at all?
No questions.
No questions about hedging? Okay. I have Lonnie's information in the chat. I'm going to have him come on here. I'm going to share his website. It's called Scale to Legacy. He and his wife Latoya they run this company, and if you need me to go through the website or anything, I can move it or I can make you a host. Let me see if I can make you a host. We met Lonnie and his wife Latoya in Mastermind I3. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. It sounds like it's. Lonnie, can you hear me clearly? Lonnie, can you hear me? I can't. Can you hear me? I can't. Say something. Say something. My mic is working. Your voice is a little bit distorted. It's a little bit distorted. See. I don't know why. I think your voice. Can you hear me? Hold on, guys. I'll fix this. Lonnie, I'm going to mute. Go ahead and see if you could say something and you can go ahead and start because I'm muting because my screen was doing something. It was making a weird sound, but see if you could say something.
Can you hear me? All right, good. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right,
Yeah,
good. I don't know what's going on, but it's phone now, but that's fine. Well, I'm Lonnie Walker, and it's my wife Latoya Walker, and we have a company called Scale to Legacy. And part of the reason that we created this company is about 5 years ago, I was trying to find business funding. We have about 4 businesses that we run, and I was looking for funding for my business, and I couldn't find it. But now we understand how to do it. So we understand that it's important that you don't use your money when you're trying to do business things. And so we form relationships with banks where we can take entrepreneurs and help them get funding for their business. So we'll help you set up the LLC, get it set up structurally correct for tax purposes, and then we're able to get you funded. And we can get you funded no matter how old the LLC is. So, for example, I tell people all the time, we get together on Monday, you decide you want to do a business, we form the LLC. As soon as we get the EIN and the formation in 3 days, we'll be able to get you 150 to 300,000 to start your business, even though your business is only 3 or 4 days old. We've kind of mastered that process, and so that's what we've been helping people do. The requirements: you need to have at least a 680 credit score, low inquiries, even though we know you can get them removed. Your utilization needs to be below 30%, and then you need to have a good credit profile. So I tell people all the time, just because you have an 800 credit score, that doesn't mean that your profile is good. We need to have a good credit profile so that the banks, when they look at your profile, they understand that you're good to lend money to. And all of this is going to be attached to your EIN and your business, not your personal credit. So if you charge $50,000 on a card, your credit score not going to drop 100 points because you made a transaction, because all of it's going to be attached to your EIN and your business. It won't affect your personal credit. And that's what we specialize in.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Lonnie or Latanya? Latoya, excuse me. I'm saying the name. Let me get it right. Now, can you explain to them to the process of how long it takes? Like if someone reaches out to you, you're talking about setting up the LLC. If they're all over the country, so we have people in DC, Detroit, Nashville. There's some people on here. They're in Texas. How does that work with people spread out all over the country?
Well, it's going to probably take a minimum of, I would say, 2 weeks to get the first 150, and then another 2 weeks for the second 150. It's really going to depend on how quickly you get me the information that I need, and then we'll get you in the process. But typically, it's a 2 week process.
And if someone is using the money for trading or to start a business, is that something that you can guide them through with setting up the LLC so that they're as they're trading and making money, it can be deductible as a business and a write-off?
Correct. Yeah, we'll make sure that it's set up properly so that you'll be able to write off all your expenses, all your setup fees, and you probably get some other information of things that you're paying for already that you're not writing off your taxes, that I can show you how you can write it off.
Right, because we do that with our business now. We have a cleaning business. Anytime we fly, travel, hotels, our whole life is tax deductible. So I think a lot of times as we're trading and investing, we miss that piece of setting it up as a business, because you want to trade as if your life depends on it, and you want to get funded. You want to get funded before you need the fund. Because when you need funds, it's not when you want to be looking for funds. I've heard people say that. What do you think about that?
So you're always going to need capital, and you want to have capital so that when opportunities come up, you can invest in it. You will never know when someone's like, "Man, I need $30,000, and I'll give you 20% in 30 days." My wife and I have had some opportunities, some real estate people. We've given them like $20,000, and they've given us $25,000 back in 7 days. Well, you're not getting that anywhere. So you never know when you're going to need capital where you can make money, and it's better to always have it. Another thing that we make sure, the funding that we get you, 150 of it is going to be 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. And then the other 150 is going to be in a business line of credit. And you know how that works. If you don't touch it, you don't owe any money on it. So essentially, we're giving you almost $300,000, and you don't have to pay anything until you start using it.
I'm putting what you're saying in the chat. So you said that 150 is 0% interest?
Yes, you're gonna have 12 to 18 months, 0% interest. And you know what that means simply, you use that money, you don't have to pay any interest on it for 12 months. So if it's 150K and you put it all to work, you're gonna make the minimum payments on it, which is gonna be $40, $50 a month. But if you start making profit, then you can always pay that back and then you're gonna be working from profit.
Wow. This is amazing. Does Donald Trump know you're doing this?
He probably know after I file my taxes. But the thing that people understand, they always underestimate the amount of money that they need. You know that you can, if you go buy like a house, if you're gonna flip houses, they only ask for 10% down. So if you get a house that's 250,000, you put 25,000 with it, the bank gonna cover the rest of that and the rehab. And now you flipping the house on the bank's dime and not your dime. It's a bunch of things that you're doing that you could do with that money to leverage your personal life for that will help your business life. So for example, let's say that you have $35,000 in personal debt right now and you're paying interest on it. Well, if you can move that 35 over to your business, first of all, it's a business expense. The interest is 100% you can write off, and you're not paying interest for another 12 months. It's
Wow.
all kind of things that you can do if you have the capital.
Wow. This is amazing. This is why I waited. I have been thinking about you guys, and I waited until we had gone through a bunch of trading classes because I know people are going to be reaching out, and I want people to know that once they get money and you're ready to invest it, make sure and pick an investment where the money can be paid back. You know, hit me up and I'll get you in some good trades after you get with Lonnie. Because I know somebody's thinking 150K, I could do a lot of options. You could do a lot of everything. So, but you got to have a plan. When we were with I3, one of the first things they talked about was a mindset, skill set, and toolkit. You got to have the right mindset when you have monies at your fingertip, and you got to know your skill set and your toolkit. And right now, we're talking about investing options, stocks, dividends. That's a part of our toolkit. And so, also, y'all remember when we were in the I3, they talked about clarity. You know, you get with Lonnie and he'll get you clear on how to get the money, the LLC, and all those different things. And then we set a plan on how to utilize it, the strategy also paying it back. Somebody's got to have a question. Anybody have any questions for Lonnie and Latoya before we finish on tonight?
I don't have any questions, but and at this time I don't need a loan. But what I will say is, what you're offering, Lonnie, that sounds really, really good, and more power to you too. What you guys are doing, I love it, appreciate it.
If you guys have any people that need the capital, we're very open to having referrals. And the reason our business is called Scale the Legacy is because we believe in a purpose-driven life. And we want you to be able to leave a legacy for your children. So it's not about going out and being flashy and buying all the cars and the houses and the bags and the clothes. It's about being wise and using your money to help other people and to have a legacy for your children.
Now, what's interesting is what you're doing with the stock market. You know, you're talking about you're leveraging, you're hedging. It's the same thing that you're doing with this money. You're taking this 150, and the goal is to turn it into millions. So you're taking this 150 and you're intelligently using it to make you more money. We had a conversation today. The goal is to have one thing paying all of your bills so that all the other money that you're making is building wealth for you and your family. And you know the biblical principle, your children's children. So that's not just your children or your grandchildren, it's their children also.
No, that's very powerful. The Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And so, yeah, we definitely want to do that. And if you need to reach out to them, I put their information in the chat. The website is there. You can click on it. It'll lead you right there. Their information and phone numbers there. and please reach out. And let's, hey, I told Lonnie earlier, if we don't become millionaires while Trump is in office, I don't know when it's going to happen. Because they about to blow this market. I mean, it's about to go. He's going to come out with some news, something, and you want to have the capital. You want to be ready when the market moves, when life calls, just like he said, you want to be ready to go. So you need to definitely reach out to them. And I'll keep your information on tap in case. In fact, this is being recorded. So anybody that missed out, call Lonnie, reach out, and we want you guys to be blessed and have a great year. And it takes funding to do that. So if you need that, please reach out and do that. Lonnie, I'm going to give you the last word on tonight.
All right. Well, if you go to the website, you can set up. I have a calendar in there where you can get on my calendar. I'll do free consultation just to see what you need. But we know that the season that we're in is the season of wealth, and you need capital to build that wealth. We know that we have purpose on our life. We're wealth distributors. So we're not just doing this to make money. We're doing this so other people can become wealthy and take care of their families. And that's what we're doing this for.
All right. Cool, guys. Well, please reach out. If you need help, they will help you. These are godly people, business people, and that's why we brought them on today. This is a 4-month journey that we've been on, and I thought it was time. So we brought them in. If you need them, please grab the information. Keep it, share it with your family and friends. If you're looking to start a business, my wife is going to have to reach out to you guys because she started her doula business. And she needs funding. Yeah, so she's got her LLC set up. She's got most of everything set up, but now she's at the point where she needs funding. So we'll definitely be reaching out. But that's it for tonight. Keep their information, share the information with your family and friends, and anybody you know that might be blessed from having an extra $300K laying around. I don't know who that might be. Look. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys. Everybody in Trade with the Family, thank you guys for being here. And next week, I think we're going to go over covered calls, but we will be back on Sunday for our normal trading time. We're starting at 6 p.m. on Sunday. And if nobody has anything else, that's it for the evening. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Hey, thanks,
You
Anthony.
guys.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Good night.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Lonnie.
Good night. Wade.